I was born an enemy. I was born an enemy, but I did not know it then. The Sandman came and shut my eyes. The clatterer lurked in dark corners, waiting to pounce, and only a sacred verse kept it at bay. In the morning I was the sparrow and its mate. In the afternoon a dog looking for shade. Come evening, a woman whose glimpsed hair flashed in the sun's dying light as she flung it back, bathing in a stall without a roof. At night, a mouse pretending to be a lion's companion, sometimes a prince dispossessed of his state. I was born in many lands. I have traveled across many seas, scaled mountains and trekked through timeless deserts. I have been many people. मुझे देखो तो सही, मेरे जिस्म के कितने टुकड़े हैं, एक एक हिस्सा कभी जिसका नाम था और वो अपने नाम से पहचाना जाता था, आज गुमनाम है. Yes, each part of my body had a name once, cherished and pleasing. No more. Like me, it is now without a name. कुछ नहीं, कुछ भी नहीं. A nameless fragment of many holes. And those holes with no face, no hands, arms, eyes, ears, legs, feet. Those holes without a heart, lungs, liver, guts. Those holes that have but one designation now, a generic one, Dushman. I was born an enemy, but I did not know it then. I read about myself in books growing up, not knowing yet of race or color, caste, class, or creed, not understanding yet differences in belief, oblivious to gender. And I affianced myself with those who taught me, with the language they spoke, and those who wrote the books I read, their ideas and their judgments. And I came to see myself as a stranger in my own land, as an alien among those I grew up and lived with, as one familiar with a language my own, but a confrere of those that brought to me the flames of their scripted words. And I learned one by one all shades of difference. I learned race and color, caste, class, and creed. I learned beliefs, calibrated carefully to context, those that must be despised and those held in esteem. I learned to separate myth from religion, religion from legend, parable and fable. I learned some tales were history, some history legend, that what was outside the province of a preceptor's intimacy was all fable and superstition, a false shadow of the real and the true. I learned gender, male versus the female, biologically and mentally at odds with each other, each behaving in ways ascribed to each to maintain integrity of kind, one above the other always, but differently in different societies, oppressive and abusive in mine, broadly coordinate and honored within a play of delicate differentials in another. I learned to deduce inclinations and attributes from the penis and the vulva, and the relationship of one to the other of tiller and tilth, in my world exploitative, in another cultured and cultivated. No matter how intensely I learned to admire those who taught me, strove to observe laws and etiquette they had established, honor their rules, precepts, and axioms, respect and celebrate even their rituals of euphemism and equivocation, their subtleties of differentiation, I was not the right color, the right race, not from the right society, not the right society, that I aspired fruitlessly and entirely at my own risk for things unattainable, that I was born an enemy, and my learning but to establish the unalterable nature of the simple truth. Caliban to those who taught me, forever a suspect, waiting for a chance to rape some underage Miranda, waiting to overthrow some sage and learned Prospero, forever conspiring, forever prone to treachery, forever preparing to commit an atrocity, polluting with my foul thoughts and native words the language of my masters, born to the wrong people with the wrong genealogy, in the wrong place with wrong beliefs, the wrong color, the wrong aspirations. I was born an enemy, though I did not know it. And here I am, a peevish and fretful poet, clumsy and uneasy as I recover, almost as if by accident, bits and pieces of lost, severed and discarded selves, torn limbs and body parts that once were mine, from the Maktal, the whale field that is my present, from the wasteland that is also the graveyard of histories, primitive and odd, contemporary and outdated, neither this nor that in the wilderness of life, adrift in vagaries of gendered forms, beyond race in the power play of races, of no class or status or rank, wo jiski koi auqat nahi, koi wuqat nahi. Fighting, I am told, modernity and progress, with a combustible mix of words and worlds, cross-pollinated by stranger languages, stoked by a kindling of wild thoughts, dukhandi roti, sulanda salan, ahanda balan, caught between damning desire and deadly rage, forever condemned to render my dry bones as the final offering at the altar of indifference. Yet why does my heart falter when I look up and find you, armed and ready, among those I'm preparing to resist? I'm afraid of Muslims. I'm afraid of Muslims. Christians unnerve and alarm me. Jews fill me with dread. I fear Hindus. I am terrified of Gautama's followers, scared of Nanak's devotees. Science and art, secularism and socialism, capitalism, communism, commerce, civilization rattle and dismay me. An ominous fire flares up in my brain the moment I see a human figure, and I flee in terror to deserts, forests and hills, to rivers, lakes and seas, to haunts of birds and beasts, the domain of fish and eels, of sharks, dolphins and whales, to worlds of insects and worms, of all burrowing creatures, to realms of reptiles, serpents and snakes. Contiguous worlds, without rituals of aversion, without philosophy, religion, law, without affliction of private visions, where no species inflicts its language on another, no species its lexicon, its call, its order, its practice, where life itself is art, living science. Contiguous worlds of simple sorrows, simple joys, without raptures and ecstasies, without gnawing of the vitals in envy and spite, where pain does not devolve to depths of despair, nor killing bloom into calamity no words may adequately contain. Contiguous worlds, now turned into garbage bins, into litter pits, into radioactive disposal dumps, in collective indifference. Contiguous worlds, to which malign effluents leach and spread irredeemably, where plants of infections and defilement pitch their roots deep into the earth's core. Contiguous worlds, invaded and annexed, ruptured and torn and robbed. Look, look, I cry out, the stockpiles they have assembled, the toxic malice of their words and deeds, the malevolence of their contempt, the impunity of their depredations, the freedom of their slaughter, oblivious to what is seeded, oblivious to what they foment, unmindful of ruin and havoc, blind to the obliteration they have prepared for themselves. But the plains smile and shake their heads. Deserts stretch out on their backs and snigger. Mountains, caverns, and rocks ring with laughter, and waters of the earth dissolve in wild guffaws.